This is Professor Michael Chapman. I'm one of the most experienced IVF doctors in Australia. I believe that an important part that I can contribute is to educate patients in relation to fertility, infertility, and all that involves. These series of podcasts help to educate you. I hope they are helpful to you. If you wish to know more, however, I'm more than happy to have you contact me via email, which is profmchapman@gmail.com, or make an appointment to see me on 9138 4222.
If we go to 35 years of age, the data now suggests that you need between 15 and 20 eggs to have a 50-50 chance. And what that's saying is that egg quality is beginning to decline. It becomes even more disturbing when you get to the age of 40. At the age of 40, to give you a 50-50 chance of a baby, you need 80 eggs. So at 40, the average number of eggs we get from a patient is more like 5 to 8. So you're going to have to go through 10 cycles of IVF to really give you a reasonable chance of a pregnancy. But too often these days, I'm seeing women in the late 30s, early 40s saying, oh, I haven't got Mr. Right, haven't found a man. I wanted to keep my chances alive of having a baby. I know that in 5 years, my eggs produce almost no chance for a baby. I just want to give myself the chance. But the chances are low. And people need to know that. And it's a debate as to whether, as a good doctor, practicing good medicine, whether you should be going ahead and doing egg freezing. I find that the data on the age of women freezing eggs across Australia is quite disturbing. The average age is around 36, 37. And if there's 36 or 37 age, that means 50% of women are above that age, above an age where I think it's reasonable to freeze eggs. The issue then is it worth the money? But if you've got the money and you want to freeze eggs, then yeah, that's fine to have a go, but you've got to do it in understanding the realistic numbers associated with it. Are there risks? Well, there are risks. They're very tiny. When we stimulate you, occasionally we may overstimulate you and you may end up hospital with sore ovaries and a sore tummy for the next few days. Greater risks, which are very rare, probably 1 in 1,000, is hitting a blood vessel or going into the bowel or the bladder and causing some damage there that potentially would be permanent. 1 in 1,000 risk, but it's not without risk. But when you are contemplating whether or not you should freeze your eggs, you've got to take all those things into account. Now that it's been around for over a decade in Australia, readily available, we're now looking at women coming back to collect those eggs and what's happening. Well, the first good news part of the story is that eggs frozen in the last 5 years, when they've been put through the thawing process and fertilised, are giving good pregnancy rates. If you get to an embryo after a egg collection and freezing and thawing and you end up with a blastocyst, it's going to give you 25-30% chance, whereas 5 years ago we were talking about 10 or 15% chance. So it's improved substantially, but it's still not great. The issues then in terms of women coming back is that, in fact, less than 20% of women who've frozen their eggs in the last decade have actually come back to collect the eggs. Why? Well, when you were 30 and you had your eggs frozen, a relationship is formed and you've got pregnant on your own. You don't need those eggs. That's the commonest reason. The second is that many of the women who put their eggs in the freezer are career women, and they get to the age of 40 and, well, the career is very important, having a baby, and I still don't have a partner, therefore I'll stay childless. So only a small percentage are actually coming back to use the eggs that they've frozen. And again, taking that into account is.
And don't forget that you can access all the previous episodes by going to our website www.theivfjourney.com and select IVF Journey podcast from the navigation menu.